Welcome, sweet friends, to the channel Frugal Money Saver. My name is Emmy, my husband is Paul. We're so happy you have joined us. Today we're going to step back in time a little bit. When you think back to your mom or your dad or your grandma or grandpa, there was an ease about the way they lived their lives. There was a rhythm and a system to it. And so often in today's world, we lose that rhythm. We lose that ease of going through day-to-day, daily activities, saving money, being content in the home, finding the blessings in the everyday. But today's video, we're going to touch upon these aspects of life just a little bit. We're going to show you how we did a simple date day that actually had quite a bit of significance to it. We made a wonderful zero food waste meal. And we're also going to show you how we stay organized, what we do and what we used. So let's slide right into this video with Paul and I having a date day. We live literally about an hour or so north of New York City. In a couple days will be the memorial of 9/11. Being that we were so close to what occurred, it really affected us for quite a while. I know it affected people all over the world, believe me. And we are blessed to have some memorials very close to us that we can visit. And there was one right down by the Hudson River that we had never gone to. And after we did that, to lighten the mood just a little bit, we headed to a brand new store that just opened to us, and we did some window shopping. We didn't buy a thing. So sit back, relax, and let us take you down to the Hudson River, where there is a beautiful memorial for the fallen heroes of 9/11. After we left that beautiful memorial, we headed over to our brand new store, Tractor Supply. It was such a fun store. They had so many different unique items. It was fun to just browse. Some really unique products to our area. There were old-time candies. One of the items I did see that I got super excited about was Goo Goo clusters. That is something you cannot find in our area and one of my favorite. We love their book and magazine section, but we'll check our local library for these titles for free. It was such a moving experience to go down there. The piece of metal you saw was actually part of the World Trade Centers. A lot of the memorials around here were given a piece to actually signify the extreme devastation that had occurred. For those of you who lost someone in the tragedy of 9/11, our hearts and prayers continue to be with you. That's something you just never quite get over. And then to lighten the mood, like we said, we headed to our brand new Tractor Supply store. What did we do? We window shopped. And then you know what I did? I jotted down some names of those beautiful books that were in there, came home, ordered them on the library for free. So going back in time, that is what our ancestors did. They didn't go to extravagant meals out and $20 a ticket movie theaters. They did simple things. They took walks. They read out loud to each other. I love when Paul reads to me. And yes, we really do that. They played board games. Their leisure time was not something that was in abundance. So when they got it, they really knew how to relax. And I encourage you to do the same. Now, our next segment we're going to share with you is about letting go of things that we may not need anymore, but are holding on to for sentimental value. So many times you hear declutter, declutter, declutter. We've got to get rid of things. And yes, it's very true, but sometimes it's hard, especially if something is sentimental. But if it is something that does not make you smile or does not make you happy, then it is time to get rid of it. And that being the case, our comforter down at the little house in South Carolina. Oh my goodness, I do not like this quilt. Let me show it to you. Here it is in the master bedroom at the little house. As you can see though, Dixie really loves it. It looks like old shells to me, like shells that are prehistoric, or I don't know, they're just blue and they're dark, but it was hard for me to get rid of. My mother loved it, but it was time. And I know washed, dried, giving it to Goodwill, somebody will absolutely love it, and that blesses me. But we needed to find a new comforter quilt. And I am sure you know the prices of comforters and quilts. So we've been hanging on till we found that perfect comforter or quilt, just like our ancestors would have done. And we think we hit the jackpot with this one. So this was our solution. We were at our church rummage sale, and this beautiful brand new in the bag quilt was $10. The colors were exactly what I was looking for, subtle. Let me show you. It also came with 2 pillow shams. Look at the colors. These look like little starfish. They're this beautiful blue. They're all nautical colors. The cream, the seafoam green. This is that bluish green color, just gorgeous. I did wash them and we hung them outside just to be sure, but these were like brand new. So beautiful. And now I have something that we paid a minimal amount of money for to replace something that was not bringing us joy at all. The whole trick was we were patient and we waited. We are heading down to the little house soon, and we will show you the finished product when we get down there. But for $10, it was brand new, absolutely beautiful, subtle, and we did have to let go of something old and usher in something new, but we did it in the best economical, frugal way we possibly could. And another thing we want to talk about is how did our grandparents and our parents and everyone we were talking about stay so organized back in the day. They didn't have a phone. They didn't have electronics to remind them to do this or do that. They kept written records. And we have discussed this before, and I cannot again stress how important this is. Today, more and more with activities we need to do outside of the home, activities we need to do inside the home. If we have children, that takes on a whole nother area. If we're taking them to sports or dance lessons, whatever it might be. My mom always had a huge calendar on the wall in the kitchen. Everything was written down there. Paul and I, even though there's 2 of us, still do that. All our appointments are on that refrigerator calendar, where we're going, doctor's appointments. So we constantly not only know what's going on, but we can refer to it to make another appointment. And another thing that I am a firm believer in, and I know a lot of you may not agree, but I need a planner. And I guess maybe because we work from home as well, so everything goes in here that I need to keep. I refer to it several times a day. Now, another way we can stay organized is by keeping inventories of our foods, inventories, what's in our pantries, our bathroom closets. You never can be too organized. Lists are your friend. Now, I want to show you how you can print off free, easy printables for inventories, for expense trackers. Keeping track of your expenses is one of the oldest forms of budgeting, and we have shown you videos where we have seen budgets going back way back to the 1800s. Make sure you're writing everything down you're spending so you know where your money is going. So I'm going to take you into the other room. We're going to go onto the computer, and I'm just going to show you real quick how you can download free some really good printables if you prefer to do it that way. So to get any of these printables, what I do is I go to Google and I just print what I'm searching for, making sure I add the words free and printable. And then I just search it. I go to images and I find one that I like. Now, the one that I have that I use is no longer available. But search any of these, open them up, see if you like them. Just make sure that they are free. You can also do it this way for inventory. So free printable freezer inventory. Search, and here they are. This is the one I use, so I will link this link specifically down below. This is a great one. It's got little check boxes. It's got everything you need. But that's basically how you're going to search for printables. If you don't want to do that, then just use a notebook and keep track that way. Let's say printables aren't your thing, then just get a notebook. Notebooks right now, because it's back to school, I've seen them as low as 10 cents a piece for spiral bound notebooks. 1 page for your inventory, 1 page for your expense tracker. But being organized, I promise you, will save you tons and tons of money. Let's get into the kitchen because we have some leftovers we need to use up. We know that one thing our predecessors before us did was never ever waste food. And you know that Paul and I sing that mantra constantly. Don't waste food. Freeze it before it goes bad. Use it before it goes bad. Be creative and make it into wonderful mouth-watering meals. And we did just that today. Let's get into the kitchen together and see what we're cooking up. I hope you all are ready for this zero food waste meal because this is a little different. We're really going out on a limb with this one, but I think it'll work. First thing we have is some mozzarella cheese, and we want to use this up, or at least part of it, and then we'll freeze the rest. I had 2 sausages packaged in the freezer, and I figured let me take those out, defrost them. We're going to use those. We had people here for Labor Day over the weekend, and this is my amazing spinach dip. Yep, we're going to be using that too. We got some of our super sweet 100 tomatoes, a tomato that we had sliced for the party, and this is what was left over. So we're going to be using that. And then my sister-in-law made some amazing roasted peppers with basil, olive oil, garlic. Look at these ingredients. The only thing extra you're going to need is your favorite pizza dough recipe. This is going to be so fun. So if you have a frozen pizza dough, pull it out. If you want to make one from scratch, do that. That's what we're doing. I'm going to show you how we make our super easy sourdough discard pizza crust. And that's it. So let's get to work. First thing I added to my mixing bowl was a cup of unfed sourdough discard. And this is a mature starter. Then I weighed out 300 grams of regular all-purpose flour. I'm going to add a half a cup of water, about a teaspoon of salt. And because we are short on time, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of yeast. Only because it's 3:30 and are you hungry?
Oh, yes.
Our son is super hungry and he's like, I got to wait 3 hours for this to rise. So yep. I'm adding a little bit of yeast to this, but you don't have to. And now I'm going to add in just some Italian seasoning. And this is going to give it a nice taste. And now I'm just going to give this a mix with my dough hook, or you can do it by hand. If the dough seems a little dry, what I'll do is add a tablespoon of water at a time. But let's see how this does. So I mixed it for about a minute and I could see it was too dry. So I added a tablespoon more of water. Now I am going to knead this for just about 6 to 7 more minutes until it's a beautiful cohesive dough. So I used my dough hook and it mixed for just about 7 minutes, and this dough is perfect. It didn't stick to the side of the bowl. It's perfect. I'll scrape that little bit off the bottom, but look at how beautiful this dough is. Oh, Dixie said so too. So I have my dough here and I greased my bowl. I'm just rolling it around. You can see all the specks of herbs in it that we put. This is going to be so good. So I'm going to cover this and let it rise probably for an hour or two until it's doubled. I took the sausage and I removed it from the casing. This is just regular Italian sausage. And now I am going to brown it, get all that fat out, and we'll have just wonderful crumbles of sausage. So our dough rose for just about 2 hours. And now I am just stretching it out. So this is a large sheet pan. And I greased it. And now we are going to spread this out. We are not fans of super thick pizza. So this is going to be great. So this stretched beautifully. I'm going to preheat the oven to 450 degrees, and I'm just going to let this sit while the oven is preheating. We let the dough just rest for about 15 minutes. Now you can let it rest longer and it will rise higher, but this is great for us. So now I am just going to cook it like this for 10 minutes with nothing on it, just so that the crust doesn't get soggy and we have a beautiful base to build our pizza on. So we cooked this about 8 minutes at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I'm going to brush it with olive oil because we're not using a traditional tomato sauce. So this is just going to give it a little bit of base and a little bit of flavor. Just plain olive oil. So Paul is not crazy about my spinach dip idea, so that's okay. I'm just going to put a bit on 1/4 of the pizza here. Now I'm going to take our previously sliced tomatoes. We're going to lay them around. Again, we're using up what we have. Why not, right? And we took some of these delicious peppers that were roasted with olive oil and garlic, basil, just put those on top. Now we're going to take our sausage that has been cooked. You cannot do this with uncooked meat. It has to be cooked because the meat will not cook in the short amount of time you're baking the pizza. Just sprinkling this all over. Do you know how much this pizza would have cost if we bought it at a pizzeria? Oh my goodness. Now we're going to take our mozzarella and we're going to sprinkle that all over. I'm thinking this is looking pretty amazing. Now we're going to put this in the oven for about another 5 to 7 minutes at 450. So this cooked for just about 7 minutes. It's bubbly, it's hot. We're gonna let it cool for just a minute. We're gonna cut into it. I just wanted to show you the crust. We like it thin and crispy, and this fit the bill. The spinach dip was beyond decadent. If you wanted it a little more chewy, you could have just cooked it a little less. I will link the original pizza dough recipe down below. But as for the toppings, you all be creative. I wanted Paul to do a taste test, but like he ate half the piece.
I couldn't wait. This tastes absolutely fantastic. This is better than any store bought pizza or pizzeria pizza. The flavor of this is incredible. So I'm gonna give it a taste test because it's just incredible. You gotta try this. This is absolutely Paul approved. It is fantastic. You taste the peppers, you taste the garlic, the oil, the pizza dough itself. It's amazing, and how quick it is to make. Put this on game day, you're out watching the ball game with your friends, make one of these things, you'll be the hit of the party. This is absolutely fantastic.
I am not kidding when I say this was one of Paul's favorites. What do you think?
This was absolutely Paul approved. You gotta try it. It was fantastic.
I think it was just the medley of everything, just the way everything came together. We didn't even have to use our super sweet tomatoes. There was so many toppings. The crust is your canvas, and then you take what you have in your refrigerator and just be creative and make your work of art.
I was going to mention, instead of using a traditional pizza sauce or a spaghetti sauce, the sliced fresh tomato gave it such a pow factor. You got to try it. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm still raving about it.
He really is. I was so happy. When you create something and someone really enjoys it, if you have sourdough discard you need to use, I recommend this pizza crust. I will link it down below, but if you don't have sourdough, just make your favorite pizza crust recipe. Super easy, and I can't tell you how much money we saved, because those gourmet pizzas are so expensive in our area, and I think in everyone's area, and it just tasted so much better than anything we could have bought. So that was a win. Today's question of the day: how do you stay organized? Do you have a planner? Do you use a notebook? Do you keep dates on a calendar on your refrigerator? Do you do all three? Or do you stay organized using your phone or another electronic device? Please share with us your best organization tips, because I know it will encourage Paul and I and our viewers as well. How do you stay organized? How do you make your day flow? How do you remember appointments? What do you do to keep track of your daily life? Please share it with us. And now for just a little channel update. As most of you have probably noticed, since May, we have been doing 2 videos a week, but on Tuesdays, it is a very short video, usually no more than 5 minutes. It will be a recipe. It'll be a DIY. It'll be 5 encouraging tips. It will be 5 motivating tips. And then Fridays, we do our full-length video like we have always done. Well, we are going to continue on with that for now. Short video on Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, always. And a regular length video, usually about 20-25 minutes on Friday. And that will be 2 p.m. Eastern Time as well. For right now, this is really working out great for us. We are available for Paul's parents when they need us, if they need rides to doctor's appointments, or I'm cooking meals. It's just working right now for us. So we know you all understand that, and a lot of you have been saying you really like that Tuesday short. So we're going to keep doing that, and our full length on Friday. And Friday, you can count on us going live for the premiere unless we let you know otherwise. So we thank you for spending this time with us. We ask, please, that you give this a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. We ask you to be well. We ask you to be safe. And above all, we wish you blessings. Until our next video, may God richly bless you.